So, I've been into the DZ lately. It's been fun, apart from that new meta. So, yeah, I don't like a squad of those. It's okay, it's just a game. I'm not salty or anything. At least the servers are still good. It was time to make a change. Nomad plus a tank equals true immortal.
No, there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know you are flying up in a bar. No wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star.
I finally become an immortal tank.
More than a couple of people going mad, I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in a game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast, didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat off track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't shining like it's neon, rock like Kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave.
If you want to clear your manhunt,
shoot. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
Hey guys and girls, and welcome to my second variation of the Nomad build. Now I hope everyone's having a fantastic weekend. But yeah, you know, as everyone knows, I really am a fan of the Nomad build. You know, I use the electronics Nomad, you know, for PvE. But you know, I thought I'd mix it up a bit. I had a few extra pieces, so I wanted to see what the Nomad tank would be like. And for me, you know, this build, it's just so much fun. You know, I love using it. So let's jump straight into it. So yeah, let's start off from the top. As you can see, just over 4k firearms, just under 9k stamina, and just under 3k electronics. Now, first off, I just want to say, I don't want people to think this is just a PvP build. You know, it has got, you know, potential elsewhere. You know, it's great in the DZ, you know, even if you're not into PvP. You know, I've, you know, secured supply drops easily by myself. You know, it's a safer way to, you know, farm the div tech and, you know, stuff like that. But also outside of the DZ, you know, there's always, you know, a team looking for a tank, and it's great in legendary missions. You know, you've got, you know, Clear Sky, you can be the box runner. You know, it's great for that. It's a great build for that. I've used it in Falcon's Lost. You know, you can be the bomb runner, you know, when you're planting the bomb onto the tank. And then also missions like Dragon's Nest, you know, the fire doesn't really do any damage to you within this build. It doesn't cause you any problems. So yeah, it's a good build all round. You know, I don't want people to just think it's a sole PvP build, because it's not. You know, you can easily alter a few things, you know, i.e. weapon talents. You can alter them to make it a PvE build. But yeah, so with Nomad, I'd say you, in my opinion, you can build it three ways. You can have it the electronics way, which everyone should know. I've made that build, you know, I love that in PvE. You can have it all out firearms, you know, 9, 10k firearms, or you can just have it as the tank. Now, the difference, I know a lot of people really like the Nomad DPS build with your high firearms, but the difference for me with this is, which I found, is I'm not saying it's bad having high firearms on Nomad, because it is a lot of fun, but with this build, you know, on your high firearms, once your Nomad is down, the build for me, you might as well just take it off and switch to your striker or whatever you're doing, because the build just doesn't feel very good. Once the Nomad's down, you know, you basically put that firearms Nomad build on just to go in PvP and rip someone's head off, and then once your Nomad's down, you take it off. But with this build, the difference is, even I've had fights in the DZ, even when my Nomad's down, the build is that tanky, and with the right talents, like on the move and stuff like that, even when the Nomad's down, you're still a tank. You're still a tank, so you can fight through that. I've had fights where I've been fighting for at least 4 minutes, and my Nomad's back up again. I've survived, and then once my Nomad's back, that's just an extra bonus. So yeah, this is a really good build for them type of scenarios. But also with the build, before I go into it, you might notice that I've got one piece on firearms. Now I was trying it with all stamina. As you can see, these are terrible. You know, these gloves. You know, LMG damage. I don't use LMGs with this build, and the arm is pretty trash as well. But I was just trying it to see what it'd be like all stamina. Now you can see it puts me toughness over 700k, which is amazing, but then I lose all my weapon talents. So for me, just to switch one piece onto firearms and drop to 660, say, so 40k less toughness, but have the use of all my weapon talents, for me it worked out a lot better. You know, them talents, you know, are needed. So yeah, that's why I run one piece firearms. But if we get into the build, I'm running the house, you know, just me normal swift deadly house. Even I can't get a god rolled house, you know, it's hard to come by, but that's the best one that suits me for the build. Now, as you can see, 17.3k damage. Then you've got the counter card. When that's flipped, that's doing about 20k damage. Now that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous damage. 20k damage, you know, for a build that's on 660 toughness. You know, what more can I say? That is, the house is a really strong gun. So as the secondary, I'm using the M4. This one I've got equipped is just me one I've been using in PvP. Unforgiven, deadly, responsive. You know, you can choose whatever weapon you want. If I was using it in PvE, I'd switch the talents up. You know, a big talent that I'd like to see on this build is maybe in the last slot is predatory. You know, I think predatory, with the increased health you get, it's a health on kill. This build would be totally immortal if you had predatory as a talent. You know, you could switch to this gun, you know, kill an NPC with predatory and then switch back to your house and blah blah blah, and you know, next minute there's no killing you. So yeah, that's one change I'd like. As regards to the attachments, it's just the usual crit hit damage, and I think there's a chance scope. Yeah, chance scope on the M4, crit hit damage on the rest. Now I've just got a new weapon skin. I'm sure a lot of you have got it by now. It looks like they look like small like DZ tokens or just tokens, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a really cool skin. I like it. Now over to the pieces. On the chest we've got the stamina with the health, and then the exotic damage resilience. Now across the build I'm running all the same stamina health mods, and also I've got the ammo capacity. Now on the backpack, there's something I'd like to say as well, is you can get bleed resistance on the backpack, the mask and the knee pads. If, you know, quote me if I'm wrong, but I think you can get it on the backpack, knee pads and mask. I, unfortunately, as you can see, I can't roll bleed resistance. I've got to go with the ammo capacity. But if you can get bleed resistance on the backpack, the mask and the knee pads, try it out, because you know, I've seen quite a lot of videos lately and people are saying it's one of the better ways to counter pred. If anyone can do it and build that with the bleed resistance, let me know what it's like, because ultimately that's what I want. I want bleed resistance across the backpack, the mask and the knee pads. But for now I'm going to stick with the, well, I've got no choice, I've got to stick with the ammo capacity. I've got health as the roll, and then it's on stamina. Same again, stamina health mod, and then I'm using first aid self heal. It doesn't, you know, if you're running a pulse, run, you know, pulse mods, but these first aid self heals don't really do anything for me. You know, I'm not going to get much of a heal at 87k skill power, but I just put them in. Now over to the mask. This is on stamina, and I'm using crit chance. Now you could get health a while ago. You used to be able to get health rolls. I would go for that, but they've taken that away, or I couldn't see it. So for me, you know, crit chance was the viable option, because I do like to still do damage. You know, I don't just want to shoot potatoes. I like to do damage, and you know, that's works best for me. You may be able to, if you want to choose health on kill, maybe that suits you better. So choose what you like. But I have burn resistance as well. That's where I'd like bleed resistance, but unfortunately I can't get it. Once again, stamina health. Now onto the only firearms piece in the build. They've got SMG damage, as I'm using the house, crit hit damage and crit hit chance. Now the knee pads, stamina health. This is another piece. I'd like to change that, you know, one of them to bleed resistance, but I can't. And then same again, stamina health and a self heal mod. And then finally onto the holster. You know, it's probably one of my nicest pieces of the build. I'm using the crit chance again, like I say. You know, I like to do a bit of damage, but feel free to choose what you want. Now the house is doing, you know, it's not huge, it's not, you know, the max, but in my opinion that's still a lot of crit chance and a good chunk of crit damage to be doing on a stamina build. You know, 46%, you still do damage, trust me, you do damage on this build, especially with the house. Now over to the skills I use booster shot. Now booster shot is usually only viable when you run an attack build or a vigorous chest, so you can get the overheal. But with the constant overheal of the Nomad, you know, booster shot works really well, gives you increased toughness and, you know, increased damage. And then because I've just been playing PvP just recently, you know, I've been using the immunizer. Helps me with the pred bleed. But if I was to use this in PvE, maybe I'd switch it to a pulse or a flame turret. So yeah, they'd be better options for PvE. Now onto the talents. I'm running strike back, which reduces me cooldowns on my skills when I'm at low health. Critical save, which by now I shouldn't have to tell people this, the most important, you know, most important talent across any build. I'm using precision because I'm not using a pulse, so maybe if I'm in PvE and I use a pulse I'll take this off, but I'm not using a pulse, so it pulses enemies for 10 seconds when I hit a headshot. And then this one is for me this is the star talent of this build. This is the one I recommend, because in anything really, in PvE, you know, that on the move, you'd be if you build it exactly the same as mine, you'd be way over 700k toughness once this is procced. And even if you're a smart PvP player and you're outnumbered with multiple players, what a smart PvP player does, if you see a red NPC, you know, in the mix or nearby, you kill him, you kill the red NPC, and then that procs on the move, and that'll give you even more survivability when you're fighting the players. So on the move, for me, this is the one that I recommend out of them all. But yeah, that's pretty much how I build the Nomad tank. As I say, it's not you know, it's not all stamina, and I did have my reasons for that. I like to unlock my weapon talents, and it's not solely a PvP build. You know, it's like I say, it's a great tank build across the whole game. But go away, build it. If you can get the bleed resistance on the backpack, the mask and the knee pads, your build will be better than mine, because that's what I want to achieve in the long run. You know, let me know how that works out, and thanks for taking the time, you know, to watch my video. As always, I thank you for your support, and take care, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.